It's May 21st, 1982, and the morning sun barely breaks through the thick fog rolling off the South Atlantic. 4 Argentine Air Force pilots strap into their Douglas A-4 Skyhawk jets at Rio Grande Air Base. Their mission: strike the British task force anchored in San Carlos water. Leading the formation is Lieutenant Commander Alberto Philippi, a veteran pilot who knows the odds are stacked impossibly against them. Gentlemen, we fly into the mouth of hell today. The Skyhawks are Vietnam-era attack jets, deadly against ground targets, but woefully outmatched by the modern British defences waiting 400 miles to the east. Philippi runs through his mental checklist one more time. His jet carries 2 500-pound bombs and barely enough fuel for the round trip. There will be no second chances, no room for error. All aircraft start engines. The 4 Pratt & Whitney turbojets roar to life. Their familiar whine a small comfort against the magnitude of what lies ahead. As they taxi toward the runway, Philippi catches sight of ground crews making the sign of the cross. Some are crying. Everyone knows not all of these pilots will return. Halcon flight cleared for takeoff. The Skyhawks thunder down the runway and climb into the grey morning sky, immediately dropping to wave-top height. Flying at 50 feet above the freezing Atlantic waters, they hope to stay below British radar detection. The formation tightens up, each pilot focusing on the aircraft ahead, the ocean a blur beneath their wings. 2 hours of nerve-wracking flight pass. Radio silence is absolute. The pilots navigate using dead reckoning and the occasional glimpse of whitecaps below. Philippi's hands are steady on the controls, but his heart pounds against his ribcage. He knows what's coming. 300 miles away, aboard HMS Invincible, the British task force maintains a constant combat air patrol. 2 Royal Navy Sea Harriers orbit at 20,000 feet, their pilots scanning the skies with Blue Fox radars. But it's the ship-based radar operators who first detect the incoming threat. Contact. Multiple bogies, bearing 270, range 80 miles, low altitude. Scramble additional CAP. Vector red section to intercept. 2 more Sea Harriers catapult off the ski jump deck of HMS Invincible, their Pegasus engines screaming as they climb rapidly into the grey sky. Within minutes, 4 British fighters are converging on the Argentine strike package. Back with the Skyhawks, Philippi's radar warning receiver suddenly screams to life. We're being painted. They found us. Maintain formation. Stay low. We're committed. The 4 jets surge forward, pushing their throttles to maximum power. The islands appear on the horizon, dark, forbidding shapes rising from the steel-grey sea. Philippi can see the masts of British ships in San Carlos water. So close, just a few more minutes. Halcon flight, you have 4 Sea Harriers inbound from the north, high altitude, closing fast. Philippi's blood runs cold. The Sea Harriers are jump jets with surprising agility and deadly AIM-9L Sidewinder missiles that can lock onto a target from any angle. His A-4s have no air-to-air missiles, only 20 cannons meant for strafing ground targets. Hold your course. We complete the mission. Above them, Royal Navy Lieutenant Commander Neil, Sharkey. Ward pulls his Sea Harrier into a dive, his wingman tight on his wing. The radar-locked tone chirps steadily in his headset as the targeting computer tracks the lead Skyhawk. I have tone. Fox 2. The Sidewinder missile drops from the rail, its motor igniting with a brilliant flash. The missile's infrared seeker locks onto the hot exhaust of Philippi's Skyhawk and begins its deadly pursuit. Missile launch. Brake. Brake. Philippi sees the smoke trail in his mirror and yanks the stick hard right, pulling maximum G-forces. His vision tunnels as blood drains from his head. The Skyhawk groans under the stress, skimming just meters above the wave tops. The Sidewinder tracks his every move, closing the distance with terrifying speed. At the last possible second, Philippi pulls up sharply and releases chaff and flares, standard countermeasures against heat-seeking missiles. The flares burn white-hot, confusing the Sidewinder's seeker head. The missile hesitates for a split second, then detonates just 20 meters from Philippi's tail. I'm hit. The explosion peppers his aircraft with shrapnel. Warning lights flash across his instrument panel. Hydraulic fluid sprays across his canopy. The Skyhawk shudders violently but somehow stays airborne. Halcon 2 is breaking off. I'm losing hydraulics. Get out of here, the rest of you on me. Behind them, Ward's wingman, Lieutenant Dave, Fang, Braithwaite, locks onto the second Skyhawk. Ensign Marcela, Moroni sees the Sea Harrier diving on him like a falcon on a sparrow. He's on me. I can't shake him. Fox 2. Another Sidewinder screams off the rail. Moroni pushes his Skyhawk into a violent barrel roll, the G-forces crushing him into his seat. The missile tracks perfectly, its sophisticated guidance system making minute corrections. It slams into Moroni's right wing, and the explosion tears the wing clean off. The Skyhawk tumbles out of control, cartwheeling through the air. Moroni reaches for the ejection handle, but the aircraft is spinning too violently. The centrifugal force pins his arm uselessly against his side. 2 seconds later, the Skyhawk smashes into the ocean at 400 knots, disintegrating instantly. Splash, one bandit, engaging next target. The 2 remaining Skyhawks, flown by Philippi and his wingman Lieutenant Guillermo Owen, push through the gauntlet. The British ships in San Carlos water open up with a murderous wall of anti-aircraft fire. Tracer rounds arc across the sky like lethal fireworks. There, the frigate, that's our target. HMS Argonaut sits at anchor, her Sea Cat missile system already tracking the incoming jets. Philippi lines up his attack run, the ship growing larger in his bomb sight. Every instinct screams at him to turn away, but he holds his course. Another Sea Harrier screams down from above, guns blazing. The 13 Aden cannon rounds trace orange lines through the air, walking toward Philippi's Skyhawk. I'm taking fire. Cannon shells punch through his left wing, but Philippi ignores them. His targeting pipper settles on HMS Argonaut. His thumb hovers over the weapon's release button. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, bombs away. 2 500-pound bombs drop from his wings. Philippi pulls up hard, feeling the Skyhawk groan under the strain. Behind him, Owen releases his bombs a second later. Both pilots execute violent jinking maneuvers as they race away at maximum speed. The bombs strike true. One penetrates HMS Argonaut's hull but fails to detonate, a dud. The second explodes against the frigate's superstructure, causing significant damage but not sinking her. We're hit. Steering gear is out. We've got flooding in the aft compartments. Owen's Skyhawk isn't as lucky as Philippi's. Another Sea Harrier swoops in behind him, and Lieutenant Commander Clive Mortimer gets a perfect lock. Fox 2, good tow. The Sidewinder flies true, detonating directly into Owen's engine. The Skyhawk's entire tail section disintegrates in a ball of fire. Owen feels the aircraft lurch violently, all control lost. Ejecting. He pulls the ejection handle. The canopy blows away, and the rocket motor fires, launching him clear of the dying aircraft. The parachute deploys with a violent jerk, and Owen finds himself drifting down toward the freezing South Atlantic. He watches his Skyhawk spiral into the ocean, trailing black smoke. Halcon 3 is down. I'm in the water. Philippi, alone now, and flying a badly damaged aircraft, pushes his crippled Skyhawk toward home. Fuel is leaking from punctured tanks. The hydraulics are failing. Every control input requires enormous physical effort. Behind him, 2 Sea Harriers close in for the kill. Red Leader, I have the bandit locked. Permission to engage. Negative. He's got nowhere to go. He's done. Let him go. Philippi sees the Sea Harriers pull alongside him, flanking him on both sides. He's certain this is the end. But then, incredibly, the British pilots salute him. One points toward the west, toward home. Then they peel away, leaving him alone in the sky. Tears stream down Philippi's face as he nurses his dying Skyhawk westward. The aircraft is barely responding, shuddering and groaning with every mile. He can see smoke trailing from his engine, but somehow, impossibly, he keeps flying. 90 minutes later, Rio Grande Air Base appears on the horizon. Emergency vehicles are already racing down the runway. Philippi has no hydraulics left for landing gear, no flaps, and barely any control. He lines up for a belly landing, his hands locked in a death grip on the stick. The Skyhawk touches down on the runway, sliding on its belly in a shower of sparks. It grinds to a halt, and Philippi collapses against his harness, sobbing with relief and grief. Of the 4 pilots who left that morning, only 2 would return. Owen was rescued from the frigid waters by Argentine forces hours later, suffering from severe hypothermia, but alive. Years later, Philippi would meet the British pilots who had spared his life. Over drinks, Ward explained, "You'd done your duty. You pressed home your attack with incredible courage. There was no honor in shooting down a crippled aircraft limping home." The Falklands War saw the A-4 Skyhawk, a proven Vietnam warrior, clash against modern British air defenses. The Argentine pilots displayed extraordinary bravery, flying obsolete jets into impossible situations. While the technology gap was significant, their courage was unmatched. "We were Davids fighting Goliaths," Philippi later reflected.
We knew the odds.
We knew the odds. We went anyway. That's what warriors do.
That's what warriors do.
The Sea Harrier pilots of the Royal Navy will be credited with 20 air-to-air victories during the conflict without a single loss in air combat. A remarkable achievement that validated the jump jet's design. But in the annals of aerial warfare, both sides earned respect that day above the South Atlantic. The hunters and the hunted, forever bound by the shared experience of combat. God help them if they send their typhoons next time. Hi. By then, we'll have our own 5th-generation fighters. Maybe.